Hi, it's Ashley from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and welcome back to my channel where I make a lot of cake and cookie decorating tutorials, as well as give a lot of baking business tips. So when you make as many tutorials as I do, you're bound to have a few that just don't work out. So in today's video, you're actually going to see some tutorials that were either too short to be their own video, or there wasn't anything that really went wrong with it, but I didn't give you enough footage, or you might just see things that I really didn't like the end product. However, there are still learning opportunities in a lot of these tutorials, so I hope you still can benefit from it. So we're going to start off with a couple of tutorials that were actually for the same project. I had this huge party set up in mind that I was going to create this surprise party for my sister. One of the party themes that she really enjoys is when food is made to look super, super cute. So my idea was that I was going to make all of these eyes here out of royal icing, and then I was going to place them on all of the desserts. So the cookies that I'm making here are just simple peanut butter cookies. It was a really great recipe, and then all I did was I added some sprinkles to them, added some eyes, and then placed a little heart-shaped chocolate on top. I was actually pretty pleased with this product, but even though I was happy with this, I couldn't really make it a tutorial all on its own. Now you might be wondering, well, I thought there was supposed to be a whole party setup that went along with these desserts. And that is kind of what I was trying to do. And the problem is that I was trying to simplify things too much. And in the end, simplifying it really did make me not like the end product as much. So what I was trying to show you guys with this tutorial was that you could make a few simple decorations and then use those decorations to decorate everything in your party, and you didn't have to make everything from scratch. But in the end, I don't like it, and it still looks all right, but you guys can be the judge of it at the end of this section. I still wanted to share this overall concept with you guys though, where I make some royal icing transfers so that they can be easily placed onto any dessert. And these are going to get placed onto some cake pops. So we're going to start with candy melts, and then I also have these mini ice cream cones. And basically what I made here was I made a cake pop, but it's only a half sphere, and I stuck them into my half sphere molds. And really it's just cake mixed with a little bit of frosting. You don't even have to be that picky with the ratios, because when you're using a mold, it pretty much does the work for you. So as long as things can stay together without kind of melding all together and kind of flopping, you have the right ratio. So as long as it can maintain its shape, you are good to go. And then basically I attached all of that with candy melts, and then now I'm going ahead and dipping it into those melted candy melts. And if you want your candy melts to be soupy enough so that they don't go all chunky, just add a little bit of coconut oil or whatever flavorless oil of your choice. And as you can see, those royal icing transfer eyes came in handy. They did have to dry in the oven at 175 degrees Fahrenheit for approximately 20 minutes or so until they were ready to be pulled off of those nonstick mats. You could also do it on parchment paper as well. And then I went ahead and I added on the drip. Now you might be wondering, what is the failed portion of this part of the tutorial? I really did not like the way that the eyes end up looking on the cake pops. I really should have copied the exact same eyes that my friend made on the cake, which you will be seeing later on in the video. She made this wonderful cake full of all these characters, and I really should have followed suit on the exact eyes that she made. So what I tried to do here, you guys know when I have a little bit of a baking fail or a decorating fail, I really try to see it through. So I'm trying to just add more pops of white to make those eyes a little bit brighter, a little bit cuter, and adding eyebrows and sprinkles. But in the end, I really wasn't that happy with the way these cake pops looked. I think if I didn't have the face on it, I would have liked them. I really do like it with the drip and the little 6-slit on top, but I wasn't a fan of the overall look. I was super pleased, however, about the stand fitting these cones perfectly. I've had this stand for a little while, but I haven't used it. Really love how the mini cones fit in there nicely. And they looked all right in that setup, and I still put out the cookies and everything, and I still did the entire setup for my sister's surprise birthday party. There is that fabulous cake there. Now, I tried to make this a simplistic tutorial on how you could pull things together, but in the end, the setup looked really underwhelming to me, so I decided to forego that full video idea. However, if you're wondering, my sister still loved it. Now moving along to the next tutorial, and you're probably wondering, how did this one get messed up, especially when you start with butter, because everything is better with butter. But this is a choux pastry tutorial that the actual product itself doesn't go wrong in the sense that it still tasted great, it was nice and light and crisp, and the filling turned out really well, but the overall look of this I really, really did not like. And it's interesting because I actually made a reel where I am talking about cake pricing and I'm making these cream puffs in the video, and so many people commented that they really did not like the way that the product looked, and I don't blame them because I too didn't really like how it turned out. And we're going to talk about why this went so wrong. So first of all, this is problem number one. And at this point, I really should have known that it wasn't going to turn out, because when you dye choux pastry, it is going to inevitably darken a little bit because you do need to turn that heat up to a certain degree that is going to alter the coloring a little bit. Now, people have dyed choux pastry before with the crackling on top and it works out, but because I went too dark with the colors, it ended up going this really weird color, which you're going to see later on in the video if you haven't already. So at this point, things were in the oven. I thought it was going to be okay, maybe. And I decided to go with a white chocolate mousse. This also caused me a lot of issues too when it came to the actual decorating portion. I was making these cream puffs for a family dinner, and whenever I'm making things for a family dinner, I know to stay away from fondant and all of those other decorating tools that I usually use, so I need to come up with something interesting that still tastes great but also looks really impressive. So I thought I would use a chocolate mousse, which I know is pipeable. But I definitely underestimated how long it truly takes to let this white chocolate mousse set. I made a dark chocolate mousse the other week and it set relatively quickly, so I thought that I could get away with letting this set in about 3 hours. That was not enough time. So heed my warnings. You should probably make your mousse in advance, at least a day in advance. That way, depending on how your refrigerator works, you're most likely going to be able to get a solidified mousse that you can pipe if you do it a day in advance. You can see here, I'm trying to pipe it and it's kind of falling off the sides. It's doing okay at first because the top layer is cold, but then it just gets looser and looser. And of course, as we know, if you don't pipe this fast enough, your hand is going to heat up the contents in the piping bag. So overall, at this stage, I knew it was not going to work. So fun fact, I went to the next day and tried again. So I had some leftover materials and then I was going to make this for my other side of my family's Easter dinner. And I thought, great, I can do this. So I ended up dipping it in the chocolate, dipping it in those almonds, and then I also added some melted white chocolate that mixed in all of the leftover nuts, really trying to use up every single little bit of material. Then I decided, okay, things are a lot more set now, so it should work. By the way, as you can see, the weird green color on my cream puffs is not what I wanted. I wanted this to kind of be like a robin's egg, so really light and kind of speckled. It didn't turn out that way, so instead I decided to try to make it look like a nest, which is why I added on that chocolate and all of those almonds. Then I decided to kind of take a cue from pastry chefs and put some of the white chocolate mousse into half spheres. I've been seeing this a lot, and I thought that I'd be able to unmold them once I froze them. And after I did fill up the half spheres, this did seem to work. They were unmolding properly, so I unmolded them, and that particular part did work. Now, this is where things just get sad, because at this point, I really did think that it was going to work out and that they were going to look like they were popping out of their little nest. I don't know why their nest has a little shell that sits on top, but I just decided to go with it. And then I thought, okay, it's going to be all right. I'm going to add on those little eyes that I made from my earlier tutorial. I'm going to add this little carrot that looks like a beak, and it's just a regular sprinkle. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pipe on the wing. But in the end, I just felt like my decorating in this particular tutorial was too messy, so I decided not to share it. Now, in this final tutorial, there really wasn't anything wrong with it. But my main issue with this was that I was really only showing you one thing I haven't really demonstrated that often on this channel, which was using Russian tips with buttercream and tips on how to do that. But I was in a really big rush because I was creating a reel for a company, so I really wasn't able to get the proper shots that were needed to actually give you a detailed tutorial on this. And I just feel like some of the shots aren't very clear and you can't see everything that I'm doing. So that's why I decided to kind of toss out the idea of this being the footage for that particular video. So in future, I think I will talk a little bit more about Russian tips and American or Swiss meringue buttercream, just so that I can give you guys a really good idea of how to use them. Because even though I know the commercials make it look like this really easy thing to use, you really do need the proper consistency to make Russian tips work for you. So that's what I wanted to do. I didn't really get enough footage on that, but I really did like the end product of these. So I will be showing you guys in future a tutorial all about that. Now let's get into the subscriber submission of the video. I know Easter has passed, but these are so cute and I love sharing them. So definitely go and drop them a like and drop them a comment. And if you guys want to be the next featured subscriber submission of the video, then please follow me at SD Bake Shop on Instagram, where you can either tag me in a photo or send me a photo. Any and all dessert levels are welcome. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of the Sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading weekly, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to comment, request, or ask a question. I love hearing from you guys. Bye!